Alright, welcome to ChemSport. I'm going to be switching out the clutch in my Camaro with a buddy of mine. I got the flywheel here. That's a 28-pound flywheel. GM uses this company called Luck. And this is an LS7 clutch kit that I got. So this is the same one they use in the C6 ZO6 Corvettes. And this is 28-pound flywheel. That pressure plate's pretty damn heavy. I'd say maybe about 30, 35 pounds. I'm guessing maybe 40. And the clutch, it's not too heavy. It's not that bad. But altogether, I'm guessing it's about 60 pounds is going to go into the car. And then I got a GM Performance slave cylinder. I always want to stick with the stock ones. They're much better than some aftermarket ones. And I got this off of Scoggin Dickey's website for about $662, everything total shipped. So I had to get also a brand new pilot bearing. And there's the part number on that, SDG 61685. And of course it's going to come with the flywheel bolts and pressure plate bolts. And then it was like another, this was not included, this is another $6 here. Almost $7 for the clutch alignment tool, which you will need when installing it. And then the pressure plate, or the slave cylinder, that was about $140, which is cheaper because they're selling the same one. I think it was on Jeg's website for like almost $170. Like, those guys are out of their mind. No, thank you. So that's the bleeder valve there, and then that's where the line for the clutch from the clutch master cylinder will go into the slave cylinder. And I'm going to be putting a speed bleeder on this, so this will be taken out. And it's, what, Thursday, August 1st. So we're going to be doing this very early morning on the 2nd. So stay tuned. Okay, just to piggyback on the purchases that I made. So it was $143.99 for that GM Performance slave cylinder. It comes out to $506.98 with tax for the LS7 clutch kit, which comes with the bolts, pressure plate, clutch, and flywheel. And then you got your pilot bearing. That was another $18.95. So spent a whole total of that amount right there. And also I bought a Felpro rear main seal and rear main cover gasket, because if you're going to get in there, you might as well replace at least the seal, because that's what holds the oil in right behind the crank or around the crank. And if you go through all that trouble of removing the transmission and you don't replace that and you have leaks later down the road, then you're going to have to pull that whole thing apart again, and that's going to make your life miserable. Okay, today's the day, getting that clutch put in. Got the car up on jack stands, got all the parts over here. So, I'm gonna get this situated here. I'm not sure how much clearance. Should be enough, because my buddy's gonna be doing most of the work since I've never done this before. So what I'm attempting now is I'm going to take out this center console right here. So you're gonna take out these two bolts there, two bolts in there as well. And then there's going to be some bolts down here towards the front of the center console. Okay, so I got this piece out here. So there's just two bolts that are holding it in when it comes to inside the glove box, and more bolts down in there. Then you got two 10mm bolts there, and then two 10mm on either side here and on the other side there. And then just make sure unplug both of the cigarette lighters and the little light that goes inside the ashtray. Now I'm going to pull this straight up. Alright, got that center console completely out. So you got your two harnesses. This is going to go into the non-cigarette lighter, just a regular power outlet. And this one goes into the cigarette lighter itself. And then don't forget that light bulb as well. And now we're all exposed here, so I'm going to get this shift boot out so we can get that shifter out. Okay, so after you get the console off, you're going to get 7 bolts off of here. It's going to be a 9/32 socket to get these little ones out, and also you're going to use a half drive socket to get the 4 bolts out to get this shifter out. Okay, I haven't filmed much today. We've had a lot of snags trying to get this thing out, which is the clutch master cylinder. Here's the slave cylinder that was in there. The problem we were having was we were trying to pull out the clutch master cylinder from it, and it turned out it was a die pin that goes in here. So this was holding it in, when normally when you put the clutch master cylinder into the slave cylinder, this little piece right here unlocks all the teeth, but since there's no teeth in this one due to the fact that it's actually a pin, that caused a big problem there. And then check this out. Here's the new clutch. Here's the old clutch. It's got a whole chunk missing right out of the side of it, because that clutch pedal was very hard to press. I don't know if it was that slave cylinder. It doesn't look like the best of anything there. And here's the new one, the GM one. So GM makes really good slave cylinders. So if you drive anything GM related, or if you did an LS swap, always stick with the GM slave cylinder if you're going with like a T56 or TR6060 transmission. The old flywheel, looks like there's a little bit of bluing on it, but not that bad. The old pressure plate. So we got the new flywheel there with the clutch on it. And you can see the difference also. There's more clutch surface area with the new clutch as opposed to this old one. So see about that much more. You get about that much more surface area as to whatever the guy I hired to put this in did. I don't know what he bought, but definitely not a good clutch assembly. Getting that pilot bearing pulled out right now.
Cool. I'm gonna need a wrench for this. Looks like it. Nope. Piece of crap, man.
Quick overview as of now. Old rusty flywheel. Chewed up clutch. This clutch has less surface area than the new one, with the bell housing there. The old jacked up pressure plate. Got the new pressure plate in that box. And having a little bit of an issue with that pilot bearing puller, so he's modifying that right now. And then there's the transmission. So everything's still in the works. Got the drive shaft laying over there. Yeah, I don't think you can see anything moving.
Yeah, I'm bending the fingers again. I'll pull it right out. Where'd you get this one from?
Advanced.
Let's see what AutoZone has. They might have a better one. Yeah. It's ripping all the damn needle bearings out of it. I can see those coming out. Getting tweaked.
Use it with a magnet tool to get those out.
Oh no, they'll just come out on their own. Maybe it'll grab the outer part of the sleeve and pull that part, but probably
Where bearings probably used to be.
not.
Yeah, fantastic. So much for that, And this doesn't hurt the crank?
No. You know how hot that crank gets?
Yeah, true.
This doesn't even get that hot, honestly.
Well, the yellow ones usually get like the hottest, the yellow torches.
I don't know.
Like there's blue. As long as you don't burn up the seal.
No, I'll be alright. Nope. Pieces of shit, man. I can't believe they sell these fucking tools. Oop. I have something. Oh, I think it's finally ripping into the teeth inside because it's coming out.
Yeah, see it move a little by little. There it goes.
I think it just dug in so much to the needle bearings. Still a piece of shit tool. The ones that are nice have like actual fingers that like stick off to the edge.
Yeah.
And they're long. They don't have just a little ridge like that. That's just shit. That's what that is.
Comes from China. So this puller ended up digging into the needle bearings, and that's how it got out. You can see it's all bent up inside. Using an 18mm socket, an extension inside of it backwards, and a hammer. Get that pod bearing in there.
I'd like to have my sledgehammer. There we go. Can you look up how much torque holds this bad boy on?
Alright. Okay, so the flywheel, clutch, and now the pressure plate is on. So you have to do a torque sequence. I believe it's 15, 34, 75. Don't quote me on that, look it up. And had to use a pry bar against the flywheel to make sure that the crank doesn't turn while you're trying to put that torque sequence into that flywheel. And now using that, got the clutch alignment tool in there.
2, 3, 4, 5. And it's shimmed correctly, but these are all factory parts. Back a little bit, actually. Just like that. Perfect. All right, come back in with it now.
How much?
If you can't, just keep going.
Shit.
Hold on, okay, hold on. Let it go. It's sitting good right there. It needs to sit on the groove. Push the tranny towards me without moving the jack. I need it to sit in that little cup. Hold on. Come in. Towards the car, towards mother. Come on. There you go. All right, hold it right there. All right. Can you pick the back end of the tranny up for like a half a second while I push the jack back a little bit?
Okay.
We can't let it come out of the bell housing or I'll be hurt.
Yeah, let's...
Hold on. Just hold it steady. Don't want to roll. All right. Can you pick the back of the tranny up? Can you push the jack in at all or no?
Right there?
That might work perfect right there.
Yeah.
All right, let it sit on the jack. All right, now push it into the car, like towards the motor. Wait. Go up with the jack. Go up with the jack.
Yeah. Yeah, use my leg.
All right. Keep going. Keep pay attention to where you're at with the exhaust.
Yeah.
Hey, take this out so you don't hurt yourself. There you go.
There we go.
Keep going up. Keep going. Try to get it in behind the exhaust.
Oh shit, it's clipping the
Alright, hold on.
exhaust flange. Wait, maybe. Keep going.
Hold on. Can't see. We're getting into this. There. Go up. Up. There you go. Abs of steel or buns of steel, whatever they want to call it. Keep going.
Die Master.
There you go, that's what I was looking for. Alright, come on baby, go in there.
Finger trapped in between the...
You're good right there.
Wait. It's caught on the lip. Alright. So we had to postpone because it's raining. But pretty much got everything together. It's just one part came up missing. Piece for the drive shaft, which I might have to maybe purchase another one if we can't find the piece. And I'm going to fill up the reservoir for the clutch master cylinder and get that bled out. Alright, today's been interesting. Been losing parts, finding the parts, having to go to the parts store, couple times to get this, to get that. I had a problem taking out the clutch master cylinder from the old slave cylinder due to the fact that the one that was put in has a clip in it, as I've shown before. And now, this is crazy. Now the guy that I worked on my car with today, he's really good with all these maintenance applications. So it was his idea to stick 5W30 right down into the transmission. So it has pretty good protective qualities. And I thought it was kind of weird, but whatever he does, I'll do it. He builds LS motors and transmissions, so I'm gonna take his word for it. What I'm doing now is I'm just scraping off this old RTV around where the shifter goes. So I'm gonna take all that off, and then I'm gonna put a bead of RTV around it, be able to put that shifter right back on. Okay, getting her back all together. Got the console getting in there. That centerpiece is gonna go right over here. Don't forget to plug everything back in. Got your AC power, cigarette lighter, and then the little light bulb for the ashtray, so don't forget those. And then I'm gonna take this for a test run. Oh, the Camaro is running great. Came down here to the Chevy dealership, and my buddy is picking up a barbell, one of the infamous barbell for the LS motors. Plugs right in the block. Still waiting to see a C6 Corvette in person. Wouldn't mind having one of these ZL1s, especially this one. This one has a nice color. The whole ZL1 package, 1LE. Beautiful. Looks like they got an old Bel Air over here. Very nice. But that's it. That concludes my day. It's been raining most of the day. I'm drenched, sweat, stink. Just glad I didn't really bust any knuckles today. Alright, thank you for watching. I know the video wasn't that informative. We had a lot of snags today. But that's it. So, stay tuned for future endeavors.